Hello F11 members and welcome to the fourth in the series on workflow. In the first in this series we deconstructed the capture of the image. In the second we looked at the transfer. At the third we looked at the import, and now, having imported our images into Lightroom, we're going to really deconstruct how we can look at our images. So the import's been done, the images have been captioned, and now it's time to start making difficult choices about which images to choose, to making our selections and how we're going to edit our pictures. So I've got open in front of me a library catalogue which I call processed images, and these are all the images that I've chosen to process from this summer, my recent work. And now I need to look at the pictures, and as you can see there's a fair bit of duplication, and I really want to make some tough choices about which are the best. In order to do that, I need to look at the pictures in various different ways. First thing I do is I'm in Lightroom's library module, which is a really useful module for organizing my pictures and viewing them and finding the ones I need to. You will spend a lot of time in Lightroom's library module, so it really pays to get to know it, how you can choose the different viewing options to really maximize the efficiency of your workflow. So let's just look at this, and the first thing I can do is actually toggle through the various different screen options Lightroom gives me just by holding down Shift on my keyboard and hitting F. Now this isn't going to work too well here on this video because the video only shows me a portion of my large screen. Nevertheless, you'll get the option, you'll maybe get the idea. I would urge you to do the same on your own screen. Hold down Shift, press F, and go through the three different full screen options you've got for in Lightroom and choose which one you prefer. Okay, but we can fine tune our display manually as well, and that's really what I want to talk through with you today. First thing to do is looking at this screen now. I've got all the images here as thumbnails. I'm in grid mode, okay, so that's showing the images as a grid. Down the bottom here we have the film strip. Now the thing is, in library mode, the film strip is pretty much replicating what I'm seeing up above in grid mode. So that's probably redundant. So I just really want to go for an uncluttered screen here. So let's get rid of the grid mode just by clicking on that hide arrow down the bottom of the screen. I can hide that now. Next thing I want to do is actually look at my images here, and I can change the size of my thumbnails here by two ways. There's down the bottom of my screen, there's a slider for thumbnails. I can go for a really big display or a really small one. If you're sifting through a lot of images, then a small display is useful. But when you get down to choosing, really making tough choices about your images, a bigger display is useful. I can also use the keyboard plus and minus to go to change my thumbnail size as well, from really big right down to absolutely tiny. So that's a useful thing to do. Next thing I do is down the bottom of the screen we have what's called the film strip here, which has got the option to color code images and flag them and look at before and after modes and choose our grid view or loop view as well. We'll come to that in a minute. It's a useful bar, but again, so there are times when you just want to look at the images, you want an uncluttered screen. So I can hide my toolbar just by hitting the T on my keyboard. Hit it again and it comes back again. So that's useful. Up top, there is what's called the filter bar. And at the moment, it's hidden. But if I just press on my screen, on my keyboard, the backslash button, it becomes available to me. And this is where I would use these filters here to find images. We'll come to that subsequently, but nevertheless I can choose to hide or see that filter bar just by using that backslash key. So let's hide it for the moment because I just want to make these difficult decisions about which pictures I'm going to choose here. Now I've got also I've chosen an image here and I might want to look at it full screen. So just by hitting F on my keyboard I can go to full screen. Now again, that's not going to work well on your video screen because you'll only see a portion of that. But we can do the same thing actually by just coming along here and hitting Shift and Tab, and that shows our display here without any of the clutter around the edge of the screen. This is really useful when you're doing editing actually. And now if I use the plus or the minus key, I can go up on my thumbnail size as well to suit. And this is really quite a useful way of just sifting through the pictures without any clutter to find out what's worked and what hasn't. Now let's say, for example, this picture here of a bee, or is it a wasp, I'm not sure, hovering around that borage plant there. I want to check the sharpness. So what I'm going to do now is hit E, or I can come down here and go to the loop view there. Now that's really useful. It gives me a really clean, uncluttered view of the image there. Press T as well to hide the toolbar. I just want to zoom in a bit more though, just to check sharpness now. So I'm going to go Shift and Tab to bring back the other stuff that lives around the edge of the Lightroom window. And up here you can see I've got this fit above the navigator, the ability to zoom in on the image. At the moment it's fitting all of it. I can zoom in a bit more to fill all of the image area, or I can go into 100% to really check sharpness. Just look at the clarity of that wasp. Incredible there. I can go in even more, 2:1, and now it's really starting to enlarge the image, and I can really check my sharpness. I can of course choose to enlarge further, anything up to 11:1. Pretty pointless really, because all you're seeing at that kind of magnification are the pixels, and that's true even at 4:1 really. But nevertheless, 2:1 is a very useful magnification for checking your sharpness. I'm going to come back to Fit. I'm going to come back to G to get back into grid mode here, and I'm going to press minus on my keyboard to reduce down the size of my thumbnails. And these are the methods we can use to change our display and help us find the best images. Just to recap, holding down Shift and pressing Tab gets rid of all the clutter. Do it again and I go back to my original map. If I just press Tab, it gets rid of the panels on the side. I can get rid of my thumbnails as well. I can show or choose to show or not my toolbar at the bottom by hitting T, and I can choose to see or not the filter bar at the top by hitting backslash. So it's really worth just playing with those controls, becoming familiar with them, because this is Lightroom, and the more familiar with it, the quicker your workflow will become. Okay, that's all good. Next month, what we're going to do is work on making the selections and how we actually go through a shoot and edit it and find the best images. Okay, I look forward to hearing your feedback and suggestions for future features. Do get in touch. Thank you.